Ever get the feeling you're not the one in the driver's seat of your own life? Like you're doing all of the things you're supposed to do, but something just feels off. You think you're calling the shots, but neuroscience is revealing a startling truth. A huge portion of your decisions, actions, and emotions aren't being made consciously. They're being run by a subconscious program that's been installed in your mind since you were a child. And no one really talks about this part. That feeling of being stuck, of sabotaging yourself, of wanting more, but never ever getting there, that's your programming. And if I'm being honest, this hit me hard when I finally understood it. Because for the longest time, I thought it was just me, like I was the problem. It's a collection of habits and beliefs, silently running your behavior and your results. It's this invisible force that decides how you show up for everything, for money, for opportunity, for relationships, for success itself. But what if you could grab the keyboard and rewrite that code? What if you could finally become the architect of your own mind? In this video, we're going to show you exactly how, using a powerful method from the master of the mind, Bob Proctor. To understand why you feel stuck, you have to meet the silent operator, working behind the scenes, your subconscious mind. Think of your mind like an iceberg. That small tip you see above the water, that's your conscious mind. It's the part you're using right now to listen and to think. It's where your logic lives. But the enormous unseen mass of ice below the surface, that's your subconscious. And here's the most important part. While your conscious mind is the thinker, your subconscious is the doer. It's responsible for the vast majority of what governs your life. Your habits, your automatic reactions, your deepest beliefs, even your heart rate and breathing. A huge part of our daily experience just happens, guided by this deeper part of the mind. And this is where it gets a little uncomfortable, because it means a lot of what you're experiencing right now, you didn't consciously choose. It's like fertile soil. Whatever thoughts your conscious mind plants in it, it will grow. It doesn't argue, it doesn't debate, it simply accepts and it executes. The late, great Bob Proctor, a man who spent over 60 years studying the human mind, had a specific name for this programming. He called it a paradigm. A paradigm, in his words, is a collection of habits buried in your subconscious mind. It's a mental program that has almost total control over your habitual behavior. And since most of what we do is habitual, your paradigm is running your life. Think about learning to drive. At first, every single action was conscious. You had to think, okay, check the mirror, foot on the brake, turn the key, shift to drive. It felt clumsy and demanded all of your focus. Your conscious mind was working overtime. But now, if you've been driving for years, you can get in your car and arrive at work with almost no memory of the trip. Who was driving? Your paradigm was. And this is where I had one of those oh wow moments, because I realized I was living my life like that, on autopilot, just going through the motions. The behavior became so practiced that it was handed over to the subconscious to be run on autopilot. This is a brilliant system for efficiency, but it's a huge problem when the programs we're running are broken. And for most of us, they are. We have paradigms for everything. A paradigm for money, a paradigm for health, a paradigm for relationships, a paradigm for our own self-worth. These programs dictate our results. If you have a paradigm that says money is the root of all evil, you will subconsciously find ways to repel it, no matter how hard you consciously work. If your paradigm says, I'm not worthy of a great relationship, you will unconsciously be drawn to people or situations that prove that belief to be true. Your life is a literal printout of your subconscious programming. And this is where it gets real. You can have a brilliant conscious goal to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. You can make vision boards, write down your goals, and use all the willpower you can find. But if your subconscious paradigm is set against that goal, you will lose every single time. I used to live this. Like, I knew what I wanted, more time, more freedom, more peace, but my actions, they didn't match. It's like trying to sail a ship east while its massive hidden rudder is locked heading west. You'll burn yourself out fighting an invisible current. This is what self-sabotage is. It's the maddening frustration of knowing what you want, but repeatedly doing things that take you in the opposite direction. Bob Proctor taught that trying to change your results without changing the paradigm is like trying to fix your reflection by yelling at the mirror. And honestly, that's what most of us are doing. The reflection is just an effect. Your face is the cause. Your life, your results, your circumstances, they are all effects. The cause is your paradigm. Until you go to the root, until you change the program itself, you will be stuck in a loop, getting the same results over and over again. The first step isn't to work harder. It's to become aware of the program that you are running. Look at the results in your life. They aren't random. They are undeniable evidence of your current paradigm. Where are you struggling? That's where your program needs an update. So where did this program, this paradigm even come from? You weren't born with it, you downloaded it. And that download happened when you were a small child. Neuroscience has shown that from birth until around age 7, a child's brain is in a state of high receptivity and suggestibility, dominated by what are called theta brainwaves. Theta is a brain state similar to hypnosis or deep meditation. During these critical years, your conscious analytical mind, the part that can question or reject ideas, isn't fully formed. So information, ideas, and beliefs flow directly into your subconscious mind without a filter. You were basically in a mental download for the first 7 years of your life, soaking up the world around you like a sponge. And this explains so much, because you didn't choose most of what you believe, you absorbed it. You learned by observing. You watched your parents' relationship with money. You absorbed their beliefs about what was possible for your family. You internalized how they handled stress, conflict, and love. You listened to your teachers, your relatives, and the world around you. Every repeated phrase, every observed behavior, every emotional reaction you witnessed became a line of code in your core programming. And I started seeing this in my own life. Growing up hearing things like, you have to work hard for your money. Then running a construction business where I was constantly burnt out. Always working, always stressed. Like, of course, that was my reality. If you grew up hearing things like, we can't afford that, or you have to work hard for your money, that idea was planted directly into your subconscious. If you witness constant arguments, your subconscious might have programmed a belief that relationships are unsafe. If a teacher made a careless comment that you weren't very smart and you felt that sting of shame, that one emotional event could have installed a deep-seated belief of inadequacy that you carry with you today. These weren't just abstract ideas. They were literally shaping your brain. The process is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new connections. Every time you were exposed to a repeated idea or experience, neurons in your brain fired together. And as the saying in neuroscience goes, neurons that fire together, wire together. These repeated experiences created strong, super fast neural pathways, which became the default circuits for your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. They became your paradigm. Imagine your subconscious mind is a fertile garden. In your first 7 years, the seeds were planted by others, your parents, your environment, your early experiences. They were the gardeners. And this is where it gets a little emotional, because they weren't trying to mess you up. They were just passing down what they knew. They may have had the best intentions, but they could only plant the seeds they had. They passed on their own paradigms, their own limitations, their own fears, many of which they inherited from the generation before them. By the time you were an adult, the garden was fully grown. The neural pathways were solid, the behaviors became automatic, the beliefs became your truth, and your conscious mind, now fully developed, started trying to make choices on top of this pre-existing foundation. You started setting goals, completely unaware that a 7-year-old's interpretation of the world was actually running the show. This is why real change is so hard. And this is where I used to get so frustrated, because I'd try to change, try to do better, and somehow end up right back where I started. When you consciously decide, I'm going to be more confident, you're using your conscious mind. But your subconscious paradigm, built from years of programming that says, don't speak up, play it safe, or who do you think you are, can immediately override that desire. This creates a nasty internal conflict. A small part of your mind is at war with the part that runs everything, and the subconscious almost always wins. But here is the single most important truth you will ever learn. Just because the program was installed by others doesn't mean you're stuck with it. The same force that created the program, neuroplasticity, is the very force you can use to rewrite it. Your brain's ability to change doesn't stop in childhood. It lasts your entire life. You have the power to become your own programmer. And that is exactly what Bob Proctor discovered and spent his life teaching. The story of Bob Proctor is the ultimate proof that Our past does not have to equal our future. And I love this part because it gives you hope. For the first part of his life, Bob Proctor was the poster child for a limiting paradigm. As he told it, in 1961, at 26 years old, he was in a bad place. He dropped out of high school, was bouncing between low-paying dead-end jobs, and was deep in debt. His paradigm was one of lack and limitation, and his results were a perfect match. Then, something happened that changed his life forever. A man named Ray Stanford saw something in him that Bob couldn't see in himself. And this is powerful, because sometimes someone sees something in you before you can see it in yourself. He handed Bob a copy of Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, and didn't just suggest he read it, he insisted. At first, Bob resisted, and honestly, same. I can't even tell you how many times I avoided the exact thing that could have helped me. But Ray was persistent. He didn't just give him the book, he started coaching him on one simple, powerful idea. You become what you think about. Ray challenged Bob to set a goal that seemed absolutely insane to him. Earn $25,000 in the next year. To a man earning just $4,000 a year and owing $6,000, this was laughable. But following Ray's guidance, Bob did exactly what the book said. He wrote his goal on a card and carried it with him everywhere. He read it, thought about it, and obsessed over it. Then, an idea hit him. He could start a business cleaning office floors. He had no experience and no real business knowledge. All he had was a goal and a new way of thinking. He started the business, and to his own shock, his income exploded. Within a year, he wasn't earning $25,000. He was earning over $100,000. A few years later, he was a millionaire. And when I first heard this, I remember thinking, how? Like, how does someone go from that to that? This wild success blew his mind. He hadn't gotten any smarter, his education hadn't changed, so how was it possible? That question sent him on a lifelong quest to understand what really happened. He realized that reading the book and focusing on the goal hadn't just changed his action, it had started to change something much, much deeper. It had started to shift his paradigm. And that's the piece most people miss. For the next 9 years, Bob Proctor did nothing but study. He didn't just reread Think and Grow Rich. He devoured everything he could find on the human mind. He realized his success wasn't a fluke. It was the result of a deliberate mental process. He had, almost by accident, used his conscious mind to impress a new idea, the idea of wealth, onto his subconscious mind. And once that new idea took root, his subconscious, the powerful, loyal servant, went to work to make it his physical reality. Bob realized the secret wasn't about hustle. It was about changing the internal paradigm. And this is where everything started to click for me too. Because I had been trying to outwork my programming instead of changing it. He saw that most people focus on their behavior and results, which are the effects. He, however, had stumbled upon the cause, the paradigm. He began to develop a clear, repeatable system for consciously changing the subconscious programming. He created a simple drawing to explain the mind, a large circle for the mind with a smaller circle below it for the body. He drew a line across the middle of the big circle. The top half, he said, is the conscious mind, the thinking mind. The bottom half is the subconscious mind, the emotional mind. He taught that any idea the conscious mind chooses to accept and get emotionally involved with must be accepted by the subconscious. The subconscious has no ability to reject it. Once an idea is impressed upon it, it immediately moves the body into actions that will bring that idea into reality. This was the key. This was the secret to everything. You don't beg your subconscious to change. You command it, and you command it through the deliberate use of your conscious mind. Bob didn't just teach theory, he created a practical step-by-step blueprint for becoming the programmer of your own mind, using the specific mental tools we all have. Bob Proctor taught that we are all gifted with creative abilities that separate us from every other species. Animals react to their environment based on instinct. Humans are designed to create our environment. And this is where it gets empowering, because it means you're not stuck reacting to life. You can actually create it. We do this by using what he called our 6 higher mental faculties: imagination, will, perception, memory, reason, and intuition. Learning to use these consciously is the key to rewiring your paradigm. Let's break down the most critical techniques. Number 1, imagination and visualization. The first and most powerful tool is your imagination. Proctor often said, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And I used to roll my eyes at stuff like this until I actually tried it. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a description of a neurological process. Your imagination is the workshop of your mind where the blueprint for your future is drawn. Visualization is simply using your imagination to create a clear, detailed mental image of the life that you want. You don't just think about the goal, you live it in your mind's eyes. Here's why it works. Neuroscientific research shows that when you vividly imagine doing something, your brain activates many of the same neural pathways as it would if you were actually doing it. This mental rehearsal enhances performance and makes you more likely to succeed in real life. You are literally building the neural framework for your new reality before it even shows up. So how do you practice it? 1. Get crystal clear on what. Decide exactly what you want. Don't be vague. Instead of, I want more money, define it. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $200,000 a year from my own business. 2. Create your mental movie. Close your eyes and build a scene in your mind. See yourself having already achieved your goal. What does it look like? Where are you? Who is with you? What are you wearing, hearing, and smelling? Make the image as real as possible. 3. Feel the feeling. This is the secret sauce. Bob always said, repetition mixed with emotion is what impresses a new idea on the subconscious. As you visualize, you must generate that feeling of having it right now. Feel the joy, the pride, the gratitude, the relief. Emotion is the fuel that drives the idea from your conscious mind deep into your paradigm. And this is where most people stop too early. They visualize once, feel a little weird, and quit. But this is a practice. Do this every single day. Make it a non-negotiable ritual. You are rehearsing your future. You're telling your subconscious, this is the new reality. Get to work. Technique number 2, affirmations and auto-suggestion. If visualization is the blueprint, affirmations are the verbal instructions. You repeat over and over to install the new software. An affirmation is a positive statement in the present tense that declares your goal as an accomplished fact. And I'll be honest, this was the one I struggled with the most because it felt fake at first. But that's actually the point. The principle here is simple: repetition. The brain learns through repetition. That's the core of neuroplasticity. Every time you repeat an affirmation, you cause a specific group of neurons to fire. The more they fire, the stronger their connection gets, creating a new dominant thought pattern. Over time, this new pathway, your new belief, becomes stronger than the old one. So how do we practice it? 1. Craft your affirmation. Write your goal as a present tense statement that starts with gratitude. The classic Proctor formula is, I am so happy and grateful now that, followed by your goal. Describe as if it's already done. 2. Write it and read it. Write your affirmation on a card. Carry it with you. Read it multiple times a day when you wake up, before you sleep, and anytime you feel doubt creeping in. 3. Use auto-suggestion at night. The moments right before you fall asleep and just as you wake up are golden opportunities. And no one talks about this part. This is when your brain is most open. In these states, your brainwaves slow and the barrier between your conscious and subconscious minds is thin. Read your affirmation, or even better, record yourself saying it and listen as you drift off. The ideas will sink directly into your subconscious. Muhammad Ali was a master of this. He didn't say, I hope I become the greatest. He declared, I am the greatest, long before he had the titles to prove it. He repeated it with so much emotional fire that it became his paradigm, and his subconscious orchestrated the actions to make it his reality. Technique number 3, gratitude as a neurological shifter. While visualization and affirmations are direct programming tools, gratitude is the emotional environment that makes the programming stick. You can't plant seeds of abundance in the soil of fear and lack. Gratitude changes the soil, and this is where everything softened for me. Because I was so focused on what wasn't working, I couldn't even see what was. Neurologically, practicing gratitude has been shown to boost neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals in your brain. This creates feelings of pleasure and well-being. It also helps regulate the stress hormone cortisol. When you're in a state of gratitude, you are literally changing your brain's chemistry to be more receptive to positive programming and reinforcing neural pathways for optimism. So how do we practice it? Start and end your day with it. Before your feet hit the floor in the morning, name 5 things you are genuinely grateful for. 2. Weave it into your affirmations. This is why Proctor's formula starts with, I am so happy and grateful now that. You're not begging for your goal. You are expressing gratitude for it already being there. This closes the emotional gap between where you are and where you want to be. Technique 4, conscious action, acting as if. Thought alone is not enough. The final piece is action. Bob Proctor taught a principle called act as if. You have to start acting like the person you want to become right now. And this is where things actually started changing for me, because I stopped waiting to feel ready. If you want to be a confident person, you can't wait until you feel confident to start acting that way. You have to stand a little taller, speak a little more clearly, and make eye contact, even if it feels terrifying at first. This physical action tells your subconscious, oh, I guess this is who we are now. We are a confident person. Belief and behavior are a two-way street. Not only do your beliefs drive your behavior, but your behavior shapes your beliefs. By acting the part, you are pulling your self-image up to a new level. So how do we practice it? Identify the who. Ask yourself, the person who has already achieved my goal, who are they? How do they think? How do they feel? And most importantly, how do they act? 2, take one small action today. You don't have to make a giant leap. And this is where most people overcomplicate it. Just take one small action today that aligns with your new identity. Each of these techniques, visualization, affirmation, gratitude, and action, is a deliberate use of your mind to impress a new idea upon your subconscious. By consciously and consistently applying these tools, you're no longer a victim of your old programming. You are the architect of the new one. If you're finding this breakdown of how your mind really works valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We post videos every week designed to give you tools to take conscious control of your life. And let me know in the comments below, what is one limiting belief, one piece of old programming that you are committed to rewriting starting today? And seriously, I want to know, because saying it out loud, that's where things start to change. So let's bring this all together. For years, maybe for your entire life, you've been living under the influence of a hidden program. A subconscious paradigm installed in childhood has been quietly running the show, dictating your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It has created every result that you see in your life. You've felt its power every time you've self-sabotaged, fallen short of a goal, or felt stuck in a pattern you just couldn't break. And if that's you, I see you, because I was there too. But the work of the thinkers like Bob Proctor, now being backed by neuroscience, hands you a liberating truth. You are not your programming. Your past is not your prison. The very same mechanism that created your old paradigm, the brain's incredible ability to rewire itself through repetition, is the key to your freedom. These methods aren't tricks. They are a systematic process for mental engineering. When you practice visualization, you're not just daydreaming. You're building and strengthening the neural pathways of your desired future. You are giving your subconscious its new marching orders. When you repeat your affirmations with emotions, you're not lying to yourself. You are deliberately installing a new belief system line by line until it becomes your new automatic truth. When you practice gratitude, you are changing your brain's chemistry, creating the fertile ground where seeds of success can actually grow. And when you act as if, you are aligning your body with your new mental identity, creating a powerful feedback loop that tells your entire being, this is who I am now. This isn't a quick fix, and I wish someone had told me that sooner. You are literally forging new pathways in your brain, and that takes consistency. You are going up against a program that has been on autopilot for decades. There will be resistance. Your old paradigm will fight to keep you in your comfort zone. It will throw doubt at you. It will throw fear at you. And this is the moment most people quit. Your job is to use your will, your ability to hold one idea on the screen of your mind to the exclusion of all distractions. You must choose day after day to focus on the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. You must choose to believe in your new reality before you can see it with your eyes. As William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact. You are infinitely more powerful than you've been led to believe. You were not born to be a passive passenger in your own life. You were born with the creative power to design your life from the inside out. You can choose your thoughts, generate your feelings, and direct your actions. You have the power to become the programmer of your reality. So start today. Choose one goal, create your affirmation, build your mental movie, feel the gratitude, take one small action, and just begin. Because you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start.